Do not adjust your computer screen. It's your mind we're changing. Stories set to a theme. Think outside. Universe Box.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win, and the others too. A giant rocket, more than 300 feet tall, the length of this football field, made of new metal alloys, some of which have not yet been invented, capable of standing heat and stresses several times more than have ever been experienced, fitted together with a precision better than the finest watch, carrying all the equipment needed for propulsion, guidance, control, communications, food, and survival, on an untried mission to an unknown celestial body, and then return it safely to Earth, re-entering the atmosphere at speeds of over 25,000 miles per hour, causing heat about half that on the temperature of the sun, almost as hot as it is here today, and do all this, and do all this, and do it right, and do it first before this decade is out, then we must be bold.
From the heavens to your ears, this is Universe Box, and strap on your jetpack. We're flying to the future. I'm Bill Meeks.
And I'm Anne-Marie DeSimone.
Yes, and if you didn't notice, Anne-Marie's camera came up right away because she has a new camera. We finally have a new camera for Anne-Marie.
Thanks, patrons!
Yes.
I'm real now!
Yeah, and some of those are over there in the chat room right now. Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. EST at live.universebox.com. I see Monica and Angel. Oh, and my friend Casey Friels, Mutate, and the
internet's Michael Lucero!
Oh my goodness, we have a celebrity in the chat room. BuzzFeed's Michael Lucero, Mashable's Michael Lucero.
Mashable, The Today Show, MTV News, Refinery 29, The Guardian. We could keep going.
I think Kennedy actually engraved his visage on the moon, and Wynn and some other people there. Oh, they like my foil hat. Excellent. Thank you very much, Michael. I know, but we're here for another rousing episode of Universe Box. But before we get into the main episode, Anne-Marie, there's some errata, some business to take care of real quick here.
So those of you who've been around understand that we have a leftovers episode coming up probably November-ish. This is a chance for you to send in some feedback for any episodes that you may have missed. For example, Harry Potter might be one that you'd want to send something
Harry Potter?
Harry Potter.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. Voldemort, you may have heard of. You may want to tell us about that. Let's see. Cookies, coffee, home. What was some of the other ones we've done? Disney Renaissance was another good one.
I remember that.
If you missed a chance to send in feedback, a video, a story, anything, send it to us at
P.O. Box 608-351, Orlando, Florida 32860. Again, that's P.O. Box 608-351, Orlando, Florida 32860.
Or
and address that to Universe Box.
Or, digitally. You may want to send it to universeboxshow@gmail.com.
Through the Funkavision.
I didn't get to the chocolate yet.
Oh, okay.
Are you listening tonight?
Maybe.
Okay. Anyway, another thing is next week is our chocolate episode. Chocolate, people, chocolate. And we'd love to have a taste test with some chocolate from around the country, the world, wherever.
Yes, the digital address is universeboxshow@gmail.com. Sorry, folks, we had kind of a
rough start.
A high stress start.
Yes. But if you want to send in chocolate, you need to send it in like tomorrow.
Yeah, to that P.O. box I mentioned.
by midweek next week so that we can taste test it all next Thursday night. But again, you can send the chocolate to P.O. Box 608351, Orlando, Florida 32860.
Yeah, and the leftovers address is, to be clear, universeboxshow@gmail.com. The voicemail is 424-274. What is
2352.
it? 2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. Okay, Anne-Marie, I don't know if I should even be here tonight, but why don't you go ahead and tell us what's in the box tonight?
Okay, you actually
Well, you got to show us what's in the box.
Okay.
Show us what's in the box.
I feel really weird tonight. All right. Retro Futurism.
Yes, this week we're talking about Retro Futurism. First, we'll open up the game box to sort the real future from the fake one. We'll peer into the memory box to decide which Disney World future is better, Epcot or Magic Kingdom. We'll flip on the Wonder Box to talk about the new film Tomorrowland. The History Box teaches us what the future looked like from the 1800s. We'll witness the home of the future in the Idiot Box. And finally, we'll pull out some questions you submitted through the idea box. It's going to be a crazy episode. It already is a crazy episode. But yeah, we're talking Retro Futurism. I'm very excited. This is one of the ones that I think when we planned for it, we called it the 50s version of the future,
Right.
but we expanded it out a little bit.
We did expand it out a little bit.
So it'll be good. It'll be good. So Anne-Marie, I think you lead this first section. Thank goodness.
I've got this. Take those glasses off. Okay, let's get things started with a fun game called Real or Not Real. We are going to pull up a picture and I'm going to leave a little description, and Bill is going to have to guess if the object is real or not so much. Feel free to play along in the chat room. Okay, go ahead. Number one. This is the Sea Scraper, or a floating city. It's based off of the Jetsons, but instead of floating in the air, it's floating on the water. Is this real or not real?
I'm going to say this is real.
The answer is no. It's not real.
It's fake?
It is fake.
I want it to be real.
It's planned. They're working on it.
I want it to be real, though.
I want it to be real because that place looks super awesome and I want to live there. But it is not currently real.
It's not currently real.
Currently real. Okay.
That's a shame.
Number two.
Number dos.
This is the Nest Learning Thermostat. It learns how you like your house. It adjusts. It'll tell you if your heater's not working properly or your air conditioner's blowing too hard. It'll tell you when it's time to change that nasty filter that's full of things we don't want to talk about. Is this real or not real?
I am going to say that this is real because I've seen it before. I know about it. This one I knew about.
All right, well, this one's real, so yes. Fine. Got that one right.
Okay, so number three?
Number three.
So I'm one.
You're
one
one
for
and
one.
one.
1 for 1.
No, you're 1 and 1.
1 for 1 for 1. Go ahead.
1 right, 1 wrong. Okay, next is an exoskeleton a la Iron Man. Is this real or not real?
I think yeah, probably.
You think real probably?
Yeah, I think that would be a yes. That would be a real. Hold on, sorry, my foil hat is kind of coming loose. Sorry, it's this weird space age polymer. It kind of comes loose in the heat a little bit. But I'd say it's real.
You would be correct.
Yay!
You would be correct.
Yay, okay, so let's see here. Number 4.
4. Human cloning. Are
Ooh.
we able and have we cloned a human?
I know we cloned Dolly the sheep.
Right, I remember the sheep, but have we cloned a human?
I know how to clone a CD-ROM or a hard drive. I'm gonna say, just because of the moral issues involved, I'm gonna say no, we haven't yet.
No, it is not real. We have not done cloning.
Good. Oh,
whoa!
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Little preview there.
Okay, next, the smart refrigerator. This is something that it'll know what is in there. You can connect it to your tablet, to your smartphone. It'll let you know if things are broken, if you're out of something. You can order from the store. Is this real or not real?
Well, the picture has Japanese writing on it.
That doesn't mean anything. The Japanese have everything.
Well, the thing is, I know that the Japanese people, all of their appliances are smart. So I'm going to say yes.
Yes, it's real.
Yay! I'm
From
so excited.
This one is from LG Smart Fridge.
LG Smart Fridge. Can you tweet from your fridge? I think you can.
You probably can.
I think.
You can
Okay,
really
so I'm what? Three and
You're
one.
4 and 1, and we're on to the last one.
Okay,
All right,
let's see.
number 6.
The last one. Ooh, I like this
The
one.
flying car.
The flying
car. Is there a real life flying car that takes off like a helicopter but flies like a plane?
Well, I know when I was a kid in the 80s, I watched Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, and one
course you
time they
did.
featured a flying car, but it was kind of chintzy. It wasn't like a real
This is a
flying
cool
car.
flying car.
Yeah, and I'm going to say it's real.
This is almost real.
Almost real.
They are still refining it. Per the article I saw, it's actually due out in 2015.
Excellent.
So they have a few more months still.
I'm going to buy one.
No, you cannot have one.
I'm buying one.
No.
I'm going
You're getting
to.
a scooter.
A scooter?
You're getting an $800 scooter.
I probably am getting a scooter for realsies. For realsies. Let's see here. Over in the chat room, they're saying...
I haven't even been paying attention.
Angel says the worrying part about cloning a human is that the cells of the cloned human would be just as old as the original person, which would mean their lifespans probably wouldn't be as long. Which,
That's true. That's true.
That'd be unfortunate.
Let's see.
And Bobby says that he is past wanting a flying car.
Past.
He's so over.
He's like, oh my God, I'm
Mm-hmm.
over it.
Oh, and Michael Lucero says, I just want a car that drives itself. Me too. I believe
They
we talked
have those.
We talked a bit about that in the robots episode.
Probably. Oh,
robots. Sorry,
robots.
robots.
Another thing.
Robots
Yes,
episode. Robots episode.
Okay.
Okay, so now you have
We
this
also have another quiz.
Yeah, we're
What
gonna do a
future
little
are
quiz
you?
here.
What future technology are you? You go ahead and pull it up since, well, you have a screen.
Yeah, I have it pulled up here, and we're going to go ahead and throw the link in the chat room there, too. But what future technology are you?
Okay, let's answer.
It's the 21st century. Wondering what those flying cars are going to hit the market?
Apparently this year.
For years, shows like Star Trek and Futurama gave us glimpses into the future of gadgets of the future, from teleportation devices to transport tubes. Curious which future technology best fits your personality? Take our quiz and find out.
Okie dokie.
Okay, so let's take the quiz.
Okay.
Okay, so are you interested in soaring above Earth? Sure.
Yes.
Sure, but not too high, I'll say.
Okay.
Okay, do you rely on wheels to take you where you need to go? No, yep, or sometimes? Sometimes. Yeah. Are you a good communicator? Am I?
Yeah, sure.
When I'm not wearing weird green glasses.
Yes, those glasses are killing me. I need them to go.
Okay, I guess I do have the gift of gab. And you're taking this over there too, right?
No.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Okay. Explore new worlds or stick close to home? I'm a homebody.
Explore new worlds.
Or I love to travel.
Explore new worlds.
Love to travel?
Yeah.
All right. We'll go with travel then.
Travel. You don't love to travel?
I do love to travel. I also like being at home. It's weird.
So do I, but...
Okay. Are you willing to help others? To an extent? No, I look out for number one, or always?
Looking out for number one.
See, I would say like if you want to appear, since we're taking this publicly, if you want to appear good, you would pick always.
Right.
If you want to appear like a jerk, you would pick no, I look out for number one, like you, for example.
I'm a jerk.
But I would say I'm going to go with the middle option here, to an extent.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Would you be at home on the show Star Trek?
No.
Beam me up, or what?
No.
Star Trek?
What Star Trek?
What Star Trek?
I mean, there needs to be a middle ground on that one, but no.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go with what Star Trek? Because I don't have a red shirt on. Okay. Are you a threat to the space-time continuum?
Always.
No more than anyone else, I guess. Or I could be.
I could be.
I wish there was a definitive yes, because I definitely think I am,
totally
especially
would.
with my foil hat.
Oh, I think it's the glasses. You'll run into something.
Okay. Do you value efficiency above all? Yes, time is money. Nope, I prefer a slower pace. And to a point.
To a point.
I'm going to say yes, time is money for me, but I'll choose to a point.
You can do your time is money. That's
Okay,
fine.
time is money.
It's fine.
Okay, do people associate you with Google? Google is my middle name, not as far as I know.
No.
Well, Google's not my middle name. And I mean, I use Google stuff, but I mean, we're streaming this on YouTube right now.
Right.
But I don't necessarily, I am not associated with Google, so I get not as far as I know. Okay, would you fit right in on the Jetsons?
Yes.
Nope, too retro, or just call me George. Just call me George. Okay, my result, what future technology am I? The flying car. You're the coolest thing on 4 wheels and 2 wings. No more spinning your wheels on solid ground. You take to the skies to soar over traffic and get where you're going without wasting time. You've got the pedal to the metal and the wind in your hair and also at your feet. Thank you guys over at How Stuff Works for that wonderful little quiz there.
Awesome quiz. We loved it.
Yes, definitely.
I want to be a flying car.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm hoping, Anne-Marie.
Yes.
Talk about something for a second so we can get some more results from our audience.
More results from our audience? Oh, we're waiting for results?
Yeah, I thought it'd be nice. Might be nice to.
Would be super neat. I wonder what some of the other options were. Because earlier when I took this by myself, I got a flying car too, and I was like, that's not fun.
I hope a jetpack, because jetpacks are fun, right?
Yep.
Definitely.
I want to. Oh, that'd be so cool. Like in that movie that we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Yes. That'll be a lot of fun. Okay, but I guess
when the time machine.
When got a time machine. I would have liked to.
A time machine. Why did we not get one?
I would have loved to have gotten a time machine for sure. Okay, so let's see here. Why don't we go ahead and we're going to talk about a little thing real quick, and then we're going to go to Disney. Let's see, Anne-Marie, why don't you tell them a little bit about the Ye Olde Patreon?
Ye Olde Patreon. Hi, you may have heard of us. We do 3 weekly podcasts.
Or you might have read about us on BuzzFeed.
CNN, BuzzFeed, MTV, The Today Show.
Which wouldn't have happened without our Patreon.
Tell them why. Thank you to our patron, Michael Lucero, for literally breaking the internet by responding to our commentary on Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which is a patron exclusive.
Yes, you guys unlocked that milestone just very recently. And if you haven't checked it out, go to All Post over on the Patreon, and you'll be able to pull down that whatchamacallit, the Harry Potter commentary.
The Harry Potter commentary.
Trivia: J.K. Rowling is a boat.
That's just a little insider tip for you there. So yes, but we also do 2 other podcasts, Greetings from Storybrooke and Legends of Gotham, which are fan casts for Once Upon a Time.
I've heard
and
of both
Gotham,
of those.
Which will be starting here in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, yes.
So they both premiere like the same week. So yay, insanity. But we really would like to be able to do more. We have a Lost podcast that we would really love to get going.
Lost.
We're so lost. So if you'd like to contribute by making a monthly donation of 10 cents, $10, $20, whatever you have lying around, go to patreon.com/universebox and you can do that. Or there's a pretty button usually right above my head that says support this channel, where you can make a one-time donation through YouTube. Now you also get all sorts of perks, like you'll get access to all of Bill's books. You'll get those commentaries. We will sing you a song. We'll write you a letter. We'll do a podcast specially for you.
And I will say that any patrons who go ahead and sign up now and have an active patronage in October,
we're going to start sending things out.
Yeah, physical goods. We're not. We still need to sit down and actually have a meeting to figure out exactly what we're going to be sending out. But stickers,
magnets, coasters,
mouse pads, something like that.
Something is coming.
So there will be physical goods for you. It probably, I'd say, probably starting at like the $5 level.
Yeah, probably at about $5 you'll start getting some swag from us.
So yeah, and if you're already a patron, if you want to get some of those physical goods, you can feel free to give for a month and then drop it back down if you need to. Yeah. That's fine too.
Yeah, we're all right with that.
No judgments.
Keep giving.
No judgments.
So yeah, go ahead and support us at patreon.com/universebox. And
and thank you, the 31 patrons.
Thank you to our 31 patrons. And I'm sorry, but really big thank yous to Michael Lucero for getting us on all sorts of news outlets.
For being awesome.
I'm getting random friends who are like, hey, is this you? And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It honestly, I was telling Anne-Marie earlier, it actually reminds me of, I had a video that was on Attack of the Show several years ago. And it reminds me of that because I just keep getting random people that from my past contacting me. Hey, I saw your thing on the thing and the thing with the stuff.
Yes.
So it's a lot of fun. Okay, well, we have a lot more to talk about tonight, but first, we're going to open up the memory box. And in the memory box, we're going to ask the question, which version of the future at Disney World is better? Epcot or Tomorrowland? We'll also show you some crazy commercials from the 50s that kind of wonder what life would be like in the year 2000. So we're going to be in the chat while we're playing this video and stuff, and join us back here in a few. Walt Disney loved to talk about the future. Today, we're looking at the future in Tomorrowland at Disney World and Epcot Center to discover which Disney future we like the best. The Carousel of Progress represents what we've done so far and reflects the constant state of change in society. The main character in every era thinks we've reached the pinnacle of human progress, only to be disproven in the next room. In the end, the carousel even gives us a look at life a week from tomorrow.
Take a look around, Grandma. You're in the ship.
Feels like I'm really there.
Okay, get ready. You're about to blast off.
Here goes nothing. Whoa.
All right, here it comes. Boom, you missed it.
The entire Tomorrowland area is infused with hopeful signs of the future. Robots, bright neon lights, smooth curves, Stitch. While it feels a little dated, it leaves you with a sense of wonder and hope. I'm here outside of Tomorrowland, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the retro version of the future. Now, I do really like it overall. I think it's hopeful, it's fun. You know, the 50s version is kind of inspired by that whole Kennedy Camelot space race kind of thing. So a lot of fun, but at the same time, I think in some ways it could be a little bit damaging because it could set kids up with this expectation that it's expected, it's going to happen. This grand future that they theorized in the 1950s was going to happen, so kids might stop trying. I think a good balance is good. Like, you know, the futuristic, the very idealistic future is fine, but at the same time, I think it's important to also show that other side of it, that what can happen if we don't apply ourselves as a species, and show that a little bit of that dystopian side too. But I really love the 1950s, the Disney-fied version of the future, especially here in Tomorrowland. It's so great. I really enjoy the fun and the feel of it. And, you know, it's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. It's a lot of fun.
Hi, guys. This is Anne-Marie, and I just wanted to give you a quick thought on what I think about Disney's version of the future. I love it. I kind of wish it was real. We all should be in spaceships and zooming around and having machines make our dinner and all that. Hey, there's the castle and there's the future. So Tomorrowland is awesome and it really should be real. So the Carousel of Progress, I wish we could have more and more sections, but there's only so much spinning it can do. Space Mountain, I want more rides like that. Like, it's so super fun. But yeah, I think Disney had the nail on the head, but reality sort of took it crazy, and we progressed in ways that we maybe shouldn't have.
Next, we went to Epcot Center's Future World to scope out the 80s theme future. Future World is filled with futuristic attractions like the classic spaceship Earth, which is a de facto sequel to the Carousel of Progress. Mission Space, where you get to be a crew member on a mission to Mars, the test track, Captain EO, and a ton of other fun attractions. On Spaceship Earth, they even let you see a glimpse of your own possible future. Here's ours.
Welcome to the future. Or should I say, your future. Here in your future, getting away on vacation is a breeze. Your smart suitcase knows where you're going and what you'll need. And with solar power from your home fueling station, you're off. You won't have to worry about your pets while you're gone, thanks to handy household robots. You'll leave your country home in an ultra-light, ultra-powerful, totally networked family car that can take you anywhere. Since you like to wing it for hotels and restaurants along the way, you can just relax and take things as they come. Getting there is half the fun, so your family car will be equipped with virtual tools to teach you about the world outside your window. You'll travel quickly and safely to places you can't imagine visiting today. And the moment you arrive at your ultimate vacation destination, you can dive right in to the future. The end. Or should I say the beginning
Like I
of
told you
your
in my
future.
other video, I really like the Magic Kingdoms version. I don't know. I think I was meant to like live in the 50s and 60s and stuff like that because I'm just like fascinated with them. Epcot's a little bit more 80s with the whole Captain EO, and there's lots of stuff that, I mean, it opened in the 80s, so that would explain it. But I think I kind of enjoy Magic Kingdom's version better. Epcot's is pretty cool. There's a lot of fun rides and a lot of stuff, but I feel like there's more progression almost at Magic Kingdom. Epcot is just really, there's not nearly as many rides and stuff or shows that show the future aspects versus a Magic Kingdom. I think you don't have your Carousel of Progress. Now you do have your Spaceship Earth, which is very similar, but it's, again, really more pasty and not as much technology-wise.
Okay, so we're here at Epcot. I've been here all day riding all sorts of rides, Captain EO, Figment in the Imagination, soaring and everything. And I've been kind of thinking, what's the difference between this park and Magic Kingdom? First of all, it's very noisy, a lot of drunk people around. Second of all, I think, Tomorrowland in the Magic Kingdom really focuses on kind of looking back at what we hope for the future. Back in the 50s and 60s with the whole space race and everything, where Epcot is really looking forward to the future. I mean, minus Spaceship Earth, the big globe ride back here, which kind of it does a big comprehensive look back at technology throughout all the years and everything. But every ride here has a focus on what's coming next, what we're going to do in the future. And a lot of it's seated in 80s sort of futurism, which is all kind of a little grungy, a little Blade Runner-y, a little rough around the edges, like Captain EO, for example. All of the characters are a little dirty, little grungy. But overall, it's a very hopeful outlook for the future where, I think Tomorrowland is kind of trying to ignore the fact that we might not have a very hopeful future and just focusing on what we thought the future would be years and years ago, where Epcot is really focusing on what cool stuff is coming up. Like everything from like the Spaceship Earth ride where they tell you, what cool technologies you'll be using in the future, to Test Track where they show you all the latest cars and the car concepts we're coming up with. I think Epcot's a lot more hopeful than Magic Kingdom overall. But that's my take on it. While we both came away with different conclusions, we love the Disney parks, which means we'll have many more forward-looking adventures in the future.
It was bedtime, all right, but there was Billy playing a new game, protecting Earth from flying saucers. A flying saucer had landed, and out of it popped a saucer man. Show him your new Mattel Thunderbird gun, Billy. It fires with a real vibrating action in an entirely new way. No caps, no batteries. Pull the bolt, adjust the movable sight, and you're ready to fire again. That's not all, Saucer Man. Look at this new Mattel-O-Matic machine gun. Crank off a smoking burst or single shot. Too much for Mr. Saucer Man. Those guns are just out of this world.
This is the dangerous way station on the road to the planets. The jumping off place for the fantastic rocket ship built in outer space. Yes, you'll be out of this world through every stirring moment of conquest of space. You'll live the strange topsy-turvy life of men who live as no other men have lived before.
Evacuate Section 34.
Not tomorrow, not next year, but sometime before the year 2000 AD, this amazing event will take place. And now you will be part of it, rocketing beyond the horizon of our time to join the greatest human adventure of all time.
Her brain kept alive by experimental science,
by a man whose abnormal passions inspired him to try the impossible.
I brought her back. She'll live and I'll get her another body.
Yes, and what of her soul? How can you make of her an experiment of horror? His mad ambitions and desires threaten every woman possessing an attractive body. Girls whose measurements make them beauty contest participants. Professional figure models such as this. All are prey to his distorted desires.
What's locked behind that door?
Horror. No normal mind can imagine. Something even more terrible than you.
Horror has its ultimate, and I'm that.
Behind that door is the sum total of Dr. Courtney's mistakes.
He intends to kill somebody. To rob them of their body. We've got to stop him.
Even science was stunned. The new atomic miracle should have been mankind's greatest boon. Instead, when such power to cause phenomenal growth proved dangerously unstable, man was confronted with his most shocking blunder.
The isotope triggered our nutrient into a nightmare.
A blunder that transformed a tiny insect into the 100-foot spider that was now ravaging the panic-stricken countryside.
And we're back. Yeah, because you couldn't see those wonderful things.
I have no idea what happened on the commercial.
Yeah, but we had a lot of fun during the break. Talking to you guys over in the chat room there. Talked to some Back to the Future. People were slamming Michael Jackson
Down
for some
with
reason.
Captain EO.
Captain EO is the best ride ever.
Down with Captain EO. It's not a ride. It's a movie.
It's
a bad 80s movie.
It is an experience. Captain EO is an experience.
This is how I feel about it.
Well, you know what?
You probably turned off my camera.
This is how I feel about it. Don't badmouth Captain EO.
I will always.
I will grit my teeth.
Always.
Every time. I know, but thank you guys for sticking with us. And now it's time to find out if we will rediscover the wonder we felt from our favorite movies and TV shows in the Wonder Box. Now this week it's Dr. Ross versus Dr. House in a battle for the future. Pick up that pin and join us in the dimension where we're talking about Tomorrowland, which, yeah, I know we said last week.
I know we just said we weren't going to do any newer movies.
For Wonder Boxes, we were going to concentrate on stuff we'd actually seen when we were kids. But we wanted to make this one exception just because we love this movie so much. So, Anne-Marie, why don't you go ahead with the rhyming episode summary, and then we'll talk some Tomorrowland, 2015 Tomorrowland.
Frank is a boy with his own special jetpack. He's got it to fly, although he's had setbacks. He's whisked quickly away to another dimension where Governor Nix has evil intentions. Humanity sporting a Blue Sorrow brand from another dimension. Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland. It's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Shining at the end of every day. Did you notice that was in the score a little bit of this movie? They had that song in the score a little bit. Yeah. Although they fully featured It's a Small World after all. Because the ride kind of factors into the movie a little bit. But Anne-Marie, what did you think about it overall?
Thumbs up.
You liked it?
Yep.
You liked it? So did I. So did I. Although, I mean, that's not to say I don't have my complaints.
You always have a complaint. I don't think I've ever known anything you haven't complained about except Captain EO.
Hey. I'm complaining right now. Stop saying I have complaints about stuff. No, my glasses make me immune to your laser gun. Okay, no, but one of the big problems I had with this, and this was a problem I think with the marketing as much as it was with the movie itself, is that it was really trying to be 3 different movies. So it ended up confusing the potential audience because, Clooney would be talking about Frank and Athena's love story, him and the robot girl. love story in the movie in interviews. If you haven't seen the movie, we're spoiling stuff here. Sorry about that, but we won't get too deep, I guess.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, we probably will.
We will.
Okay, and then there's another aspect of the movie, which you might have seen in some trailers, which is kind of, save the world. Find Tomorrowland, save the world. And then the third aspect is the young girl, the teenage girl, Casey, trying to find herself and find her place in the world and everything, which if you had seen interviews with that actress, you might think that's the main plot of the movie. So I really think the marketing especially, and really even maybe the movie to a degree, should have really focused on that find Tomorrowland, save the world plot device, the road trip, which I think was the most compelling part of the entire movie.
Right.
But they also introduced this, and I think this felt like an add-on after the fact, this framing device where Frank and Casey, George Clooney, and I don't know the actress's name.
I don't know anything.
George Clooney in a wig. No, that wasn't it, actually. But they had this framing device where they're like talking to the new recruits for Tomorrowland at the beginning of the movie and trying to explain their place in the story. And it just kind of, it feels tacked on, and it really confused things a lot.
Britt Robertson, just so you know.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But I really thought that the movie should have just opened up with the flashback with the kid version of Frank bringing his jetpack to the World's Fair, and maybe then cut to a montage of his time in Tomorrowland before he got banished. Then just flash forward to the present day with Casey hitting up the launch pad and everything to try and stop them tearing down the launch pad and everything. So I think that would have made the movie feel a little more focused, but instead they kind of like went back and forth in the beginning with this big framing sequence.
See, that didn't really bother me that much.
It bothered me a little bit.
That's because you're picky.
Yeah, but
you're picky.
You seem like you had a big revelation over there. Was that something?
I was, she was in Swingtown.
Oh, okay. With Lana Parrilla.
With Lana Parrilla, yeah.
Interesting. But yeah, that was my big... Well, I had two complaints about the movie. One was about the major thematic theme, which I'll get to in a minute, but that was my main one.
Right.
So
I love the entire concept of the two wolves that they introduced in the beginning, and it sort of is her revelation as to how to save the world. Was the two wolves. You have the darkness and the light, and the one that lives is the one that you feed. That's such a basic, like, this is true. This is life. Like, if you're cranky and angry all the time, you're going to be cranky and angry all the time, and everything's going to be cranky. But if you're positive and you try to go for, something good will happen to you. The power of positive thinking, folks. I love it. It's probably something that I need to keep in my head a little bit more, and maybe, teach small people to do. I don't know. I just, for some reason, this movie really, hit with that.
Yeah, and I really like that too. I think what they were saying was feeding those wolves. I have a bit of a problem with that, but again, we'll get that to that later. Yeah.
Okay.
But Monica in the chat room says, I didn't see much of the marketing, but I didn't have any issue following the plot at all.
No, it definitely wasn't that. Yeah.
Which, basically all I had seen about it before seeing the movie. I've gone back and seen interviews with some of the stars and stuff like that after the fact. But I had just seen that commercial or that trailer where she picks up the pin in the jail cell.
We saw the trailer like 16 times because it was on the Disney station on the Roku.
Yeah.
And when you're watching a show, small children are watching a show, they play the commercial twice per break. That's the only commercial you get.
Yeah, so
we watched it over and over, and they kept going, we want to see Tomorrowland! So we saw Tomorrowland.
But yeah, it was all that scene in the jail cell. And one other thing that I thought was kind of, I was kind of curious about was just that pin itself. Because basically what it is, it's this pin that... It works by making you think you're in Tomorrowland when you touch it. It's kind of like a VR device or something. Yeah, it's a virtual reality commercial. So, you pick it up, you touch it, and suddenly you're in Tomorrowland. You're with that big spire you see in between me and Emery on the screen there. And, you're out in this wheat field outside of Tomorrowland. And so, you're like, hey, I want to go to that big castle or whatever. So you start walking. But the thing is, you're also walking in the real world.
Right.
Like, you're not just...
That's crazy, and why would they do that?
Yeah, you're not just walking in the simulation. You're moving around in real life as well. And, it seems like a really dangerous way to show people Tomorrowland, because the whole premise is you're getting this pin because you're one of the smart creative types who should be in Tomorrowland, and this is your kind of an advertisement. Come join us in Tomorrowland.
Well, maybe Casey's the only one who fell down a set of stairs and walked into a swamp.
Yeah, that's the thing. Why not make it where you can actually, where either you can kind of see like an overlay of Tomorrowland on real life, or you don't actually move around in real life while you're moving around in the simulation. Because, like you said, Casey hits her head, she falls down the stairs, she almost drowns in the swamp.
Yeah.
Because of this odd design fall. You'd think, because Tomorrowland's supposed to be this collection of the greatest minds in the world, and you'd think they would have thought of that.
But I think it was a matter of like completely submerging you into that Tomorrowland. Like, I really think that everything that was in this commercial was amazing. And maybe they originally thought of it as a stagnant something or like a video, but those great minds, they're not satisfied with just that video. They had to have more. They needed more, and they knew that in order to convince people, they needed to give them more in order to make them try to find their way there. Basically, because all you have is this like anamorphic, is that the right word? No? I don't know. She's a robot girl.
They called them audio animatronics.
Animatronics.
Like they call the robots in Disney World and stuff.
Oh, that's even creepier.
They call those animatronics. So.
Yeah. But like that's your only guide. So I don't know. I don't know. I love the commercial though.
Angel T says she wonders, based on the success of this movie, she wonders how the Jungle Cruise movie they're developing.
There's a Jungle Cruise movie.
Yeah, The Rock is developing a Jungle Cruise movie.
Oh, The Rock.
But the way I've heard it explained is that, like, Disney's okay throwing one of these projects out based on a ride every once in a while, because they did like a Haunted Mansion movie that didn't do bonkers and stuff. But the thing is, it's a relatively small investment for a company like Disney, and if it takes off and does pirate business, Pirates of the Caribbean business, then it's a new franchise.
They're golden. I can't wait to see what Pirates looks like when it reopens. Side note.
Bobby says the pins sound like when people are staring at their phones and walk out into traffic. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Basically, I have run into things staring at my
Did
phone.
you think that it was like kind of a one-to-one situation where, because I know she kind of spotted out where Tomorrowland was and then hopped on her bike and pedaled there. So do you think it was just like that dimension overlaid on ours, so you could you could walk for like a mile and then and be a mile closer to the Tomorrowland or whatever? Maybe,
but I'm not sure because she was moving in a car and she wasn't getting much closer. So, there's fine. Bobby said, The Rock is in it. It'll probably do just fine. Agreed. I'm just curious how they'll do with that.
Can you smell what the Jungle Cruise is cooking?
Oh, they weren't allowed to cook.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
We just went out this week. Okay, but I loved everything about that commercial. Like, the looks of that. I want to know how to make that a reality. Like, the commercial worked on me. Sorry. So if I can find a ship, I'm going. There were jetpacks.
Anne-Marie is abandoning our dimension and going to Tomorrowland.
I'm out. Mic drop. There's a trackless monorail, a hover rail, interactive transparent displays, flying bottomless pools. These pools were amazing.
People. Oh, I love the pools.
You would jump, you would swim around, and then you flow out the bottom into another one. Like, you would be diving for like a lot of stories, like 10, 15
just
stories.
Down through multiple pools.
It was insane. I would love to see the Olympics of that. There was a tree growing in the middle of the city that had like these pods growing out of it. I don't know if they were houses or offices or anything. They weren't leaves. They were definitely like building structure. And then there's like these manned rockets taking off in the middle of the city, just like right next to you. I'm like, you don't need a runway? And it goes like, boom, done. Like, it was like Mission Space. Yeah. I want to be there.
I want to go there.
I want to go where the future is.
Yeah, Tomorrowland was like the land itself was really cool.
It was amazing.
If anything, like I was a little disappointed that we didn't get to spend more time there.
Yeah.
Like especially when it was fully functional and everything, because you see a little bit of it in that first scene with Little Frank, but then when you come back to it, it's basically just Governor Nix and his audio animatronic robot guards, and everyone else is ducked out or whatever. Although one thing, and I don't think this made it into my notes, so I wanted to mention it. It's a plot device within the movie that who was it? It's Tesla and Edison.
Yes, Tesla, Edison. Oh.
Yeah, I think I wrote it down.
Oh, there's two more.
But let's see here.
Land.
Yeah, Edison, Jules Verne, Tesla, and Professor Idol. But basically, they were kind of like this Avengers type group of brilliant guys who were part of the inception of Tomorrowland. They kind of created it. So I thought that was really cool too. Okay, now what I was talking about as far as like the thematic stuff that I had an issue with was that, well, there was a lot of stuff in this movie, cynicism versus optimism, realism versus idealism. That was kind of the thematic push and pull throughout the entire movie. Now, Frank, George Clooney's character, when we meet him, he's originally an optimist, but when we meet him later in his life, through most of the movie, he's a cynic.
Super Athena.
Yeah, and Casey is an eternal optimist.
Yep.
And they say as much about both of these characters in the movie. Now, as far as Frank, I don't think he wanted to be cynical. He was kind of forced to be. He was kind of pressured to be, backed into a corner with it when he's banished from Tomorrowland by Governor Nix for creating this sort of time monitor thing,
right?
Which kind of shows the end of humanity or whatever.
Basically,
but the
58 days.
Thing is, even when he's kind of like a homebody, a hermit in this house with these monitors and everything, but he's still nostalgic. He's sentimental. He's a dreamer, like he always was. Not only did he have an escape plan ready to break free if they ever got too close,
right?
But he also, I noticed when the the animatronics show up to kill him and take Casey, the first thing he does is he goes and saves all the family photos and that holographic projector thing,
yes,
like holographic Viewmaster. So he's very sentimental and still wanting to preserve all of this stuff from his past, even with his life on the line. Now, the big thematic conclusion at the end of the movie really focused on the fact that dystopian fiction and things like that were kind of like a result of the big conflict in the movie, and that focusing on messages like that, like kind of like a Hunger Games scenario or a Maze Runner scenario, would hold us back from a bright future. As Governor Nix says in the movie, humanity gives up. And because of these dystopian, kind of a signal that's being broadcast into everyone's head. Now, I kind of disagree with this point, and I actually find this point a little bit cynical, that this dystopian fiction it makes us cynical and will keep us from that bright tomorrow in Tomorrowland. Now, I think exploring dark futures like these in fiction form, it's a good place to kind of a lab to experiment with them, and it also helps inform us and to help us avoid them. One example I thought of during the movie was like 1984, for example. Like a lot of the reason people are so up in arms about privacy issues and the NSA and stuff today is because we saw those themes explored in the classic novel 1984.
Right.
And they even mentioned some of these classic novels like Brave New World and stuff in the movie.
That was when she was in school and everybody's telling her all these awful, awful things, and she's like, how do we fix it? And everybody just ignores her.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
But definitely. But I think, it is dangerous to kind of focus on the negative all the time instead of kind of hoping for the future. But at the same time, these dystopian fiction specifically is really important to a hopeful future because it makes us aware of the darkness when it occurs so we can, guard against it, route around it for that brighter tomorrow.
Right.
But that's just my thought.
Interesting. Okay.
Monica says also, as far as the pools, that she loves swimming, but would be battling her fear of heights.
It would be insane. It would be absolutely, absolutely insane. Okay, so the parallels between Frank's giant end-of-the-world prediction device and Casey's drone driving in the beginning. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Like, she instantly... that they put her in front of this, big globe thing where she can go anywhere, basically in any time, and she instantly knows how it works. because that's how she thinks, and and she gets it, and this just proves how smart she is and how forward thinking. Like, she instantly like, there was a lot of that.
Yeah.
And Nix and Frank are just like, huh? Like, she just gets it. She just sees it, and she already knows. But the thing that confused me with all that, though, was the static. How did the static appear? Like, because she's going to basically the end of the world, which is in 58 days, for a fun fact. But how does the static appear? How do they know what's before and after the static? How does the static happen?
I got the impression that the static was whatever event brought about the end of the world. So maybe it was like a huge nuclear explosion or something that messed with those tachyon particles.
Oh.
Like, it just jumbled them all up. But then after the fact, after it settled down, you could see again.
Right. Okay, that's fair.
But
go ahead.
I was just going to say one little issue I had with that, and it wasn't really a big issue because, I mean, this is very common in fiction. But Casey kind of operated within the movie as like a chosen one, kind of like a Harry Potter, where she could just naturally do all these things that the other characters who had a lot of experience in the world couldn't necessarily do, which I didn't have a huge problem with it. I noticed it. And
See, I don't think that she could do stuff that other people couldn't do. Because both, obviously, Nix and Frank could both do it. She just happened to pick it up so quickly.
Yeah.
Because it was a similar system that she had already used through the drone. So I don't think it was actually like this magical new thing. And she just knew how to do it. No, but I mean, they cover that repeatedly, that she just knows how things work when she like corrects her dad's stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, how did you? And he's like, you'd have gotten there, Dad. So, I don't know.
Oh, Bobby says in the chat room, if all you do is point out flaws, it's easy to get discouraged. Very true. Very true. I'm just saying, I don't think writing dystopian stories and dystopian fiction are really pointing out flaws so much as creating a mythological base for us to access in times of trouble, to kind of see where we are, reference where we are, and, like I said, route around it, guard against it. Like, and I mean, I think it's good to be critical, but you can't just be critical.
No.
You have to have a little hope in there sometimes too, for sure. Okay, there were also a lot of Disney Easter eggs in this movie. I figured I'd point out. Let's see. The hover rail for the monorail, of course. There were all sorts of references to different rides and things. I noticed at one point Frank and Casey retrieve a scooter to try and get away. And if you look in the headlight, there's a hidden Mickey, like you find in Disney World everywhere. There's like, the two circles with the one circle. And Frank has a line, well, zippity-doo for you.
Yes.
There's a scene in a hobby shop, and there's just a ton of Star Wars stuff everywhere. Because it's kind of like a sci-fi shop.
It's a sci-fi shop. I mean, you got to have what's going to sell.
But obviously Disney owns the Star Wars stuff now, so they put it in there all over the place.
Oh, there's Star Wars stuff everywhere.
And I also noticed in the climax of the movie, they take the Eiffel Tower and they use it as a rocket.
The rocket was underneath, but anyway.
Yeah, but it was set up by that kind of secret Avengers group of scientists and creatives and stuff. But I noticed, and just because we've been to Epcot so much recently, to get out of the Earth's atmosphere and everything, it takes the exact same flight path as the rocket in the ride Mission Space when you're going to Mars on Mission Space. So I thought that was a lot of fun too.
I didn't even catch that until
because it just like spins out around the moon and then heads back and shoots over Earth, which is exactly what happens in Mission Space.
That's fantastic. Okay.
Oh, Bobby also says that his voicemail we have coming up in a little bit touches on the themes of this film, although he's never seen the movie.
Nice.
So interesting.
Should be fun. Okay. I love basically the final message in the end. Obviously, I've just been a big fan of the movie, but I like that it's it takes everybody to have a happy and exciting and fun world. Like it takes all kinds. In the end, they're going after artists, humanitarians, scientists, mathematicians, judges, activists, like zoologists, everybody. Musicians. Well, that's an artist. Like there is somebody from every walk of life. And I'm just curious, like they all have to work together. One thing I'm curious though is what does the commercial look like now?
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to see the new commercial.
Well, like the thing is too is one thing I felt walking away from this movie is I would love to see more stories set in this world.
Right.
I'm really sad that the movie didn't do better because there's probably less chance that's going to happen.
They completely marketed it wrong.
But then again, maybe Disney has deep pockets. Maybe if they're committed to it, they could do it. But at the same time, what kind of threat would come to threaten Tomorrowland as they leave it at the end of the movie?
Right.
Yeah, and I definitely, I just think, it's good to be hopeful. It's good to be, positive and everything. But at the same time, I don't think it's a positive, and I don't think it would lead us to a better tomorrow to bury our heads in the sand from problems that we face either.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying bury your face in the sand.
Yeah,
but,
I'm
look
saying
for a positive solution.
Yeah, I'm saying the movie was saying that to a degree. And that was the one kind of thematic thing I had a little bit of an issue with. Maybe that's why I'm so critical of it. But no,
Probably.
Really, and we'll get to this in a second. But I did really love the movie. But okay, well, we had so many notes for this movie that we thought now would be a good time to just shout out some of our notes. So, Anne-Marie, why don't you start?
Little Casey loves the stars because she's going to go there.
I was wondering if they invented immortality in Tomorrowland. Like, why didn't Governor Nix age at all? And why didn't Frank age at all while he was there?
He did.
No, I don't think he did, because when they banished him, he was around the same age he was when he got there.
Nuh-uh.
I thought so.
It was the 80s.
No, because...
But between the 80s and now is only, 25 years.
He went over there in the 50s.
Yeah.
He came out in the 80s, and he was only about 50 in the modern day. So he kind of... Because it was 82...
Maybe it's just slower. Time goes slower there. I feel like they addressed that.
I referenced 1984 earlier, but actually 1984 was the year he came out of Tomorrowland.
Nice. Crazy laser guns from the store.
Lots of crazy laser guns.
Lots of crazy laser guns. Casey finds out Athena's a robot. Casey steals car. Athena's hit by the car. Athena then chases the car. Guard dog isn't real.
I thought it was interesting that Governor Nix, the reason the world was put into peril is because he canceled the party.
Yes.
And let this message that he knew was broadcast out to people. I think it was because he did it knowingly.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want he thought that he was better than everybody else, and he wanted Tomorrowland for himself.
Right. Video player on the mantle looks a lot like the viewfinder in the Carousel of Progress.
Yes.
Very early in the Carousel of Progress.
Yeah, and the viewfinder. It also reminded me a little of a ViewMaster too. I thought it was interesting that the whole road trip part of it. They go from Houston to New York State, and it feels like it takes like a day. That's at least a 2 or 3 day trip.
It took 2 or 3 days.
Did it take 2 or 3 days?
Cables that transmit people, cold, loud, lose 90% of blood sugar. Coke inside Eiffel Tower.
And I love that Athena played jokes on Casey, adapting Frank's sense of humor from earlier in the movie. Bobby says that could be the plot for the sequel. Someone comes from the future warning us that we were being too optimistic. I like that. I'm going to write it right now.
I like it. Do it. Everyone in Paris films the rocket taking off on their phones and tablets.
Let's see here.
Why don't you let people in?
I also thought that it was really sad. Like a big part of Casey's plot in the movie is that they're destroying a NASA platform, and the NASA space program is being disbanded. Kind of hit close to home because that's actually kind of happening in the real world too. They're kind of privatizing space, and it's sad to see NASA kind of losing clout in the world of space travel.
Plants that light up. I want them. I don't remember where they were, but I want them.
Okay, and Angel in the chat room also says that she thought the commercials showing off the place was interesting. It would be cool to have like a mini-series based in that setting. Oh yeah,
that would be fun.
Mini-series, a cartoon, even a CGI series.
Yep.
It would be a lot of fun. Okay, so Anne-Marie, does it pass the wonder test? Did it give you wonder?
Yes. Gimme. I want it. I love this. Basically, I loved the movie. I would love to see more of this movie. I would love to see it properly marketed so that everybody wants to see this movie. Give this puppy a re-release.
Excellent. And yes, while I have some issues with the thematic statement at the end, it was a super fun adventure. It was both heartbreaking and hopeful at parts. Plus, Clooney knocked it out of the park like always.
Yeah.
Gotta love the Cloon. He played Batman. The Cloon.
Gotta love the Cloon.
Gotta love the Cloon. He was also very good on Stephen Colbert's first Late Show, by the way.
Yeah, Colbert without the T. Sorry.
Yeah, and like I said, I'd love to see more stories in this world, but it doesn't look likely at this juncture. Hopefully, that will change. Okay.
Casey said NASA's going for deep space, leaving Earth orbit for commercial. Or at least that's what it should be doing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. You know, Mars, Jupiter, black holes,
and beyond,
all that kind of stuff. And Casey's the guy who knows, because Casey in the chat.
Isn't he the one that goes to all the launches?
Yeah, he goes to all the launches. He's super big on
guy.
space, so definitely.
He's that guy.
Yeah, and
we should do a space one and have him here.
Oh yeah, Casey. Sometime we'd.
Hi, Casey. We're booking.
If you have thoughts on this, submit for our leftovers episode. universeboxshow@gmail.com 424-274-2352.
Woohoo! Hey, there's a Disney show coming called Miles of Tomorrowland.
Miles from Tomorrowland.
Isn't that a kids show?
I'm checking it out right now.
Look at, we're both Googling.
Yeah,
this is what we do now.
It's Disney Junior.
Disney Junior.
Yeah.
Hey, this is already out.
Yeah, it looks like themed very Tomorrowland and everything.
Why didn't we watch
this? And there's the subtitle is Space Mission Mars, which is kind of interesting. But the thing is, you know, it might just have like a common inspiration though, because they're probably both just based on Tomorrowland.
Yes.
Especially if it's already out, because I don't think they would have had an animated series out that quickly.
Yeah, it's out.
But lots of good stuff there. Lots of good stuff. Okay, we do have this here in the history box.
Oh, the history box.
Yes, we're going to take a look back at what the Ladies' Home Journal thought the future would look like all the way back in the 19th century. I wonder what they got right. So, Anne-Marie, you got a chance to look through this. Did you see anything interesting? It's an old article, or like an old article from the Ladies' Home Journal that BuzzFeed ran, as well as some other websites.
Oh, okay. This was my favorite. Few drugs will be swallowed or taken into the stomach unless needed for the direct treatment of the organ itself.
Nice.
Drugs needed by the lungs, for instance, will be applied directly to those organs through skin and flesh.
Yeah, I like this one. There will be no C, X, or Q in our everyday alphabet. What? They will be abandoned because unnecessary. Spelling by sound will have been adopted, first by the newspapers. English will be a language of condensed words expressing condensed ideas and will be more extensively spoken than any other. Russian will rank second. Which has kind of happened to a degree because, you know, there's kind of like an abbreviated typing that people do in texting now and online, like the acronyms online, like LOL, ROTFL, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So we didn't lose any letters from the alphabet, but we have kind of shortened up the language a little bit.
Yes. Everybody will walk 10 miles. Gymnastics will begin in the nursery, where toys and games will be designed to strengthen the muscles. Exercise will be compulsory in schools. Every school, college, and community will have a complete gymnasium. All cities will have public gymnasiums. A man or woman unable to walk 10 miles at a stretch will be regarded as a weakling.
Oh, no.
No.
Rascal Scooters probably say
otherwise.
Otherwise. Yeah.
However, Fitbits agree.
They are.
So it actually is. I mean, it's a little. It's not necessarily you're a weakling, but that's how a lot of people are starting to healthify themselves.
We're starting to trend that way a little bit.
We kind of are starting to trend that way a little bit.
Yeah, another thing that's kind of interesting that's kind of coming to fruition now. Oh, and Muser says leet speak. Very true. Yes. As far as like losing letters and truncating the language. But one of the other predictions is no mosquitoes nor flies. Insect screens will be unnecessary. Mosquitoes, houseflies, and roaches will all have been practically exterminated. Boards of health will have destroyed all mosquito haunts and breeding grounds, drained all stagnant ponds, filled in all the swamplands, and chemically treated all still water streams.
Wow.
The extermination of the horse and its stable will reduce the housefly.
You're getting rid of horses?
They're going to kill all the horses.
That's awful. It is absolutely awful.
No,
however.
Well, wait a second. I was just going to say that this is kind of happening, though. Because
the bee thing?
Well, no, not the bee thing. They're actually, specifically with mosquitoes, they're trying to kill off a lot of the mosquitoes, what they've done is they've genetically engineered a mosquito, I believe it's a male mosquito. I could be wrong on that.
Interesting.
That is very sexually attractive to other mosquitoes, but is also infertile. So basically, they're introducing these infertile, sexy mosquitoes into the mosquito population.
Infertile, sexy mosquitoes. This is so weird.
Yeah, infertile, sexy mosquitoes into the mosquito population, and eventually hoping that it will thin out the mosquito population and they'll all die off, or a lot of them will, because mosquitoes are a huge vector for disease, not just here, but in the third world. So yeah, I think it's interesting. Definitely. And Casey says, how's that going down in Florida? Not very well.
No,
Not very
happening. Ready cooked meals will be bought from establishments similar to our bakeries of today. They will purchase materials in tremendous wholesale quantities and sell the cooked foods at a price much lower than the cost of individual cooking. Food will be served hot or cold to private houses in pneumatic tubes or automatic wagons. The meal being over, the dishes used will be packed and returned to the cooking establishments where they will be washed. Such wholesale cookery will be done in electric laboratories rather than kitchens. These laboratories will be equipped with electric stoves and all sorts of electric devices such as coffee grinders, egg beaters, stirrers, shakers, parers, meat choppers, meat saws, potato mashers, lemon squeezers, dishwasher, dish dryers, and the like. All such utensils will be washed in chemicals fatal to disease microbes. Having one's own cook and purchasing one's own food will be an extravagance. Yes, please.
Yeah, although I do think it's funny that so many of these have to do with electricity.
Yes.
Because electricity was the new thing then, right? So like if we were doing predictions today, it would be internet and robots like we did a couple weeks ago and stuff. But let's see here. This one pretty much true now. Photographs will be telegraphed from any distance. If there be a battle in China 100 years hence, snapshots of its most striking events will be published in the newspapers an hour later. Even today, photographs are being telegraphed over short distances, which I didn't know that. I didn't know that they were telegraphing photographs back then. And photographs will also reproduce all of nature's colors. Yeah, pretty much.
Similarly, telephones around the world. Wireless telephone and telegraph circuits will span the world. A husband in the middle of the Atlantic will be able to converse with his wife sitting on her in her boudoir in Chicago.
Skyping.
We will be able to telephone to China quite as readily as we now talk from New York to Brooklyn.
See, it's funny because Muster says, and still none of these futurists saw the coming of the internet. The last two, it'll catch up, Muster.
But the automatic signal, they will connect with the circuit there locally without the intervention of a hello girl.
Okay, and they also kind of predicted GMOs here because they're saying strawberries as large as apples will be eaten by our great-great-great-grandchildren for their Christmas dinners 100 years hence. Raspberries and blackberries will be as large. One will suffice for the fruit course of each person. Strawberries and cranberries will be grown upon tall bushes. Cranberries, gooseberries, and currants will be as large as oranges. One cantaloupe will supply an entire family. Melons, cherries, grapes, plums, apples, peaches, and pears and berries will be seedless. And figs will be cultivated over the entire United States. Which I will say that when we were at Epcot, living on the land, they take you through this greenhouse where they're working on a lot of this stuff, trying to make plants bigger and make them grow more efficiently in smaller spaces and using fish and stuff like that.
Yep.
Angel T says, should we start calling our cell phones hello girls now?
Yes. Yes. Where's my hello girl?
Hold on.
You're going to call Suri and tell her to call her.
Hello, girl.
Hello there, Beal.
Hello
See?
there,
There's
Beal.
my hello go right there.
Hello, girl.
Hello go.
Hello
girl.
Okay,
right
last
there,
one. Black, blue, and green roses. Roses will be as large as cabbage heads. Violets will grow to the size of orchids. A pansy will be as large in diameter as a sunflower. A century ago, the pansy measured but half an inch across the face. There will be black, blue, and green roses. It will be possible to grow any flower in any color and to transfer the perfume of a scented flower to another which is odorless. Then may the pansy be given the perfume of the violet. Ooh, that sounds sultry.
Okay, a couple more here that I see
there
that
a
are
few good ones?
Yeah, that are kind of coming true right now. Store purchases by tube. Pneumatic tubes instead of store wagons will deliver packages in bundles. These tubes will collect, deliver, and transport mail over certain distances, perhaps for hundreds of miles. They will first connect with the private houses of the wealthy, then with all homes. Which I say this to mention. One, we didn't really get the pneumatic tubes, but I think if they predicted planes, that kind of helps speed things along, over the hundreds of miles as far as shipping goods back and
The
forth.
drones now. You get the drones from Amazon.
Yeah, I was going to say Amazon's working on their drone program, and Amazon in a lot of bigger cities has same-day delivery. So
1 hour.
So it might
1 hour even.
Yeah, it might not be pneumatic tube, but you can either get a same-day delivery to your house, an hour delivery to a locker at the corner store, so you don't have to go across town to get something.
The corner store.
The corner store.
Right. All right.
Hoover's Market.
No, don't do that again. How children will be taught. A university education will be free to every man and woman. Free. Several great national universities will have been established. Children will study a simple English grammar adapted to simplified English and not copied after the Latin. Time will be saved by grouping like studies. Poor students will be given free board, free clothing, and free books if ambitious and actually unable to meet their school and college expenses. Medical inspectors regularly visit the public schools to furnish poor children with free eyeglasses, free dentistry, and free medical attention of every kind. That's actually kind of true. The very poor will, when necessary, get free rides to and from school and free lunches between sessions. Yep. In vacation time, poor children will be taken on trips to various parts of the world. Etiquette and housekeeping will be important studies in public schools.
And Angel says the education one makes me sad. Well, not sad, but makes me wish they were right.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're talking about a cantaloupe-sized melon or watermelons.
There are those. I almost bought one, but then, next to it was a gigantic one for $4.
And Muster says she's conversing with her husband from the boudoir via yelling downstairs to the kitchen.
That's fantastic.
Okay, and one thing because we never read this intro here, and it sounds kind of...
What intro?
The intro to the article. These prophecies will seem strange, almost impossible, yet they have come from the most learned and conservative minds in America.
Stupid conservatives. Sorry.
To the wise, I think it's a different kind of conservative.
I think so too.
To the wisest and most careful men in our great institutions of science and learning I have gone, asking each in turn to forecast for me what, in his opinion, will have been wrought in his own field of investigation before the dawn of 2001, a century from now. These opinions I have carefully transcribed. And he did.
Yep.
And a lot of them Americans will be taller. That's true.
That's very true. Yep.
Let's see anything else here that we missed. To England in 2 days, less than now.
Yep.
There will be airships.
Kind of.
Aerial warships, forts on wheels, no wild animals.
Yeah, that one's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but and few drugs will be swallowed.
Yeah.
Nope. Everyone's a drug head these days.
I already read that one.
You darn drug heads.
You're in darn drug.
No, but a lot of fun, and
That
we'll
was
have the
good.
link in the show notes for this over at
Absolutely.
universebox.com
'Cause that's
for
a fun
sure.
one.
Unfortunately, I think we've kind of passed time here. We're going to skip the Idiot Box for tonight.
Sorry.
Maybe we'll save
We'll
it.
save it for
Leftovers. Email us that so I remember it and mark it as leftovers.
Okay.
But if you want to check it out in the meantime, just go to YouTube and search for Home of the Future 1999 AD, and we'll have a link to it in the show notes as well. Sorry, Idiot Box, we're skipping you this week.
It's a little long.
Okay, so last but not least, what we have here is the Idea Box, which is where you guys submit ideas for us to talk about, questions you want to know for the topic that week. And it's really easy to do it. All you need to do is go over to universebox.com/ideabox, and there's a form here where you can, what's your idea? And my idea is... What's your idea? Question mark. And then you hit submit, and boom, we have it so we can talk about it.
Yep.
And of course, we'll share these with the chat room too. And you know what? I'm going to lose the green glasses for this last segment here because it's so hard to read. I mean, it's like ridiculously hard to read. But let's see here. Okay, so Anne-Marie.
Yeah.
What's your favorite fictional version of the future? Your absolute fave. Here, I'll put my real glasses back on too. Keeping the foil hat though.
You have to keep the foil hat.
Definitely.
I kind of really love. I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
I'm not sure because it's like I'm like struggling to even think. I kind of want.
There's a lot of fictional versions
What
of
is
the
it
future.
like? Pleasantville? No, it's not Pleasantville.
That's
past. Though.
That's the past.
See, I just want to live in the past. Okay, can I have some modern conveniences in the past? That's why I'm like, I like their version. I want whatever the '60s were saying the future is going to be.
You want the great big beautiful tomorrow.
I would love a
shining
great big,
at the end of every day.
Absolutely.
Muster says Star Trek universe, TNG specifically. Angel says a mix between Disney's version and Star Trek. Let's see here. As for me, actually, you know what? I think I'll go with the Jetsons.
I was leaning that way.
I mean, who knows what was going on underneath the clouds, underneath the sky cities and everything? But everything else was pretty rad. Like you had flying cars that you could fly between different planets on. You had what was the I forget the name of the song. I was going to reference the song that the rock star writes for Judy.
A bleep blop bloop or something.
Eep up orc eep
yes.
Orc eep up orc that means I love you. Come fly with me. It's a good song.
Okay.
It's a good song. So yeah, that would be my favorite. Okay, and let's see here. What are the people in the chat room saying?
The people in the chat room, there's Bicentennial Man, Star Wars, Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, Babylon 5.
Bicentennial Man was pretty solid.
Peace on Earth, I don't know that one. Mix between Disney's version and the Star Trek version.
Yeah, we got that one. Okay, so Anne-Marie, what futuristic invention do you think will be commonplace in the next 50 years? Doesn't have to be one we've talked about tonight.
But I think it's going to be. It's like the smart fridge.
The smart
because
fridge?
I think that's as close as we're going to get
like
to...
the Internet of Things kind of stuff?
Yeah, like it just, bloop, bloop, and you have more. And bleep, bleep, and you have more.
Or those little tags that Amazon has now where like, oh, I'm out of Clorox.
Yeah,
I hit the Clorox
button. And it's
button.
orders.
Yeah.
Yes, like something along those lines would be delightful. So there's that.
I think, and this is going to be just a completely whacked out prediction, I think we're going to have, and this is something that I became familiar with in old like Silver Age Superman comics. But they had these computer devices that were like ultra accelerated learning devices. To where it kind of just accelerated your learning process. And I think, because me personally, I've come around to learning a lot of stuff, like specifically nonfiction books and stuff, through audiobooks. And then I just speed up the sound of it, and I can listen to it twice as fast, and I absorb most of the information. And I've always been a speed reader, and I think they're going to find a way to either subliminally or somehow do like a combination of audio and video to accelerate the learning process to where you can absorb, you could just sit down and watch a screen for an hour, and then you would have an entire history book's worth of information in your head.
I want it.
And I can see that happening in the next 50 years.
That would be cool. Let's see. Casey says Robotech wants to fly a giant robot.
Who doesn't?
Realistically, Michael Lucera says self-driving cars that are safe and work well. Muser says there's personal vision of the future where she won the Powerball. And Bobby's Violent Femmes did a great cover of Eep Op. And Monica says, Matrix, I know Kung Fu.
I know Kung Fu. Okay, what fictional future, Anne-Marie, and I hope you have an answer for this one.
Man.
What fictional future do you think, like retro fictional future, do you think was the most accurate? As far as like what people were predicting back in the day, what do you think is most accurate to today?
Why are these questions always so hard for me?
Well, see, you're not a huge sci-fi fan, though, so you probably haven't been exposed to enough of it.
And if I have, I don't think of it like that. I just go, hey, that's a cool story.
Yeah.
I don't typically dwell on it, so I can't think. I don't know.
That's fair. Well,
I stink.
I'll go ahead and answer it for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, and this was a movie that came out about 10 or 12 years ago, something like that. There's actually a new TV series based on it coming out soon. But Minority Report. Because a Minority Report had a lot of stuff in it that I think is pretty relevant to today, like facial recognition software and security cameras. They're building that technology is happening right now. In fact, Ooh, do I still have the thing here? Because this is kind of interesting. If I can find it here. Oh, yeah. There's actually a fashion technology called Dazzle that people are working on to kind of circumvent this facial recognition. Because,
Oh, yeah.
Facebook has the facial recognition technology too. So some people are theorizing they're building this big database of faces and they're going to link it to security cameras. This CV Dazzle thing is kind of a way to make your face less symmetrical, hide it with hair and colored hair and wigs and things like that, and makeup to kind of obscure it from these facial recognition technologies.
Okay, that sounds fun.
And there was also a big part of the reason Tom Cruise's character was getting chased down found by the government was because of retina scans, which are pretty prevalent now for high security clearances, things like that. And combined with, or the scanning was done to target ads to you, to target specific ads to you. And as we all know,
We hate ads.
targeted ads are all over the place these days.
Yep.
And also, it had Tom Cruise running a lot, and he's still doing that to this day. He's running all the time. Just anytime you look at Tom Cruise, he's like,
And jumping
or like
things.
hanging onto a plane or something else. So,
This is true.
yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
Anything from the chat room there?
Everyone missed cell phones, the defining item of modern culture. I don't know. I think each sci-fi thing got bits and pieces accurate. Jules Verne, Brave New World, not in a tech or social hierarchy, but in the way that we're numbered from important issues by entertainment. Philip K. Dick. I don't know that. I don't know.
Philip K. He's a famous sci-fi author.
I don't know things.
Actually, I believe Minority Report was based on one of his stories. Blade Runner was based on Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Gotcha.
I've read one of his novels and a couple short story collections. Love it,
Let's see. Star Trek inspired some modern technology,
including the cell phone.
The episode of Fairly Odd Parents. Fringe predicted tablets a few years before they were a thing.
Actually, you can go back to Star Trek The Next Generation, and they had iPad-like devices that were tablets. And I believe Microsoft had a tablet
Yes,
out
that's
back in 2001.
Yeah, 2001 predicted tablets.
Oh, I think
IBM tablets.
Casey's saying specifically the movie 2001 that was done in the 70s.
Yes.
But I'm saying that Microsoft had a tablet in 2001.
I was
it's
just
complicated.
reading.
It's complicated.
It's way complicated.
It's super
man.
complicated. Super complicated.
complicated.
Okay, enough of this this future claptrap. Anne-Marie, why don't you tell us what's in the box for next week?
Hey, in the box.
What could be in the box?
A little box.
What's in the box?
There's a little box in the box.
There's a little box in the box. What's in the little box?
Let's see what's in the little box.
What could it be? What could it be? What could it be?
Chocolate.
Chocolate?
Nom 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 nom.
Yes, next week on Universe Box. Next week, Universe Box is going to be delicious. Jump on the Wonkavator because we're eating chocolate on next week's Universe Box. What's your favorite kind of chocolate? Have you ever made your own? Ever have a candy bar you didn't like? Tell us about your trip to Hershey Park.
Yes,
which you love.
I do.
We're talking chocolate next week on Universe Box. Better bring your sweet tooth. And we will be doing a Wonder Box for a movie that we saw when we were kids next week called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Not Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory.
I think originally we were going to do a comparison of the two, but
That's
we're
not
not doing
happening.
that because
No.
we have fan cast coming back next week and it's going to be way too rough.
Way too
But
busy.
if you have any chocolate stories to send us,
Or chocolate.
Or chocolate, reference the P.O. box from earlier, or universebox.com/contact-us for the P.O. box address. You can get that in the mail soon. But otherwise, if you have chocolate stories, recipes, anything like that, if you want to send in recipes,
Send me a recipe.
Anne-Marie will make it for the
Yes,
show.
please.
Because
Send me a
we're going to do a tasting. So, universeboxshow@gmail.com. The Twitter's @universe_box.
As
The
you may know from the internet.
The Facebook.com is from BuzzFeed.
The Facebook.com is Facebook.com.
The Facebook is facebook.com/theuniversebox, Anne-Marie. And the voicemail number is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. Oh, actually, Win and Me agree. She said she hated Willy Wonka and loved Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh.
I actually prefer Charlie and the
I've only seen Charlie like once. But
Yeah.
I love Willy Wonka.
I prefer Charlie to the original, but I don't hate the original. I still appreciate the original for what it was.
Yeah.
It's a really good Gene Wilder musical. But we do have a voicemail here, and it's from Bobby. So take it away, Bobby.
Hey, Bill, Anne-Marie, and fellow storytellers. It's Bobby here. And as I was researching this week's topic of retro future, I came across a term that I knew was a thing, but didn't quite know all about. Didn't quite know was a thing, if you know what I mean. We've all heard of steampunk and the Victorian era and cyberpunk, like the hacker era, I guess. But I had never heard of the term diesel punk. I just never heard of it. I should have by this point, but I just never heard of it. I never thought about it that way. Basically, diesel punk refers to the time that I think of when I think of retro future, which is like the 50s, the 60s, what's known as the atomic age. But it doesn't just refer to the aesthetics of the era, although it does pertain to that. Really, it's not just about the style, it's about the substance. It's about the attitude of the era. It's about how when everyone was coming back from World War II here in America, it was about looking forward to a brighter, better tomorrow, working for a better future. And now of course, that may not have come to pass, but that's what diesel punk is about. It's about trying to recapture that optimism. It's about striving for a future that unfortunately never came to be. Of course, once we got into the 60s and the 70s, science fiction became bleak and dystopic. We got things like Blade Runner and Mad Max, and just over and over again. And that's just not how you teach someone. You don't tell them. You don't point out all of their flaws, because if you just keep pointing out someone's flaws, not only are they not going to want to change anything, they're going to come to the conclusion that nothing can be changed. I'm worthless. This is just how it's inevitable. This is how things are going to turn out. Instead, you show them the positive. You show them what good can come. You show them what to aspire to. And that's what diesel punk is about. It's about being optimistic about you, about yourself, about others, about the world in general. And I have a really bad problem being optimistic, especially here lately. So I'm going to try to live by some of these standards. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to start wearing chrome everywhere.
Do it. Do it.
Like I said, it's not just about the style, it's about the substance. So, hey, I never wanted a flying car anyway. I was always scared of 2 tons of steel falling out of the sky.
Thank you very much, Bobby.
Chrome.
Yes, we would like to see you in Chrome.
A chromed out Thor.
And not Google Chrome.
No. No, that'd be funny too.
But no, and I think it's definitely important to have an optimistic outlook and everything. But I think sometimes the dystopian stuff, I think it has its own sort of optimism, because these dystopian stories, they're not like the world's awful and it stays awful throughout the entire story and then it ends with the world being awful. A lot of times they're about a hero coming back and setting things right, and and they end on an optimistic note, like, yeah, the world was screwed up and we fixed it, and now we're going to do better. So I think there's a bit of an optimism in dystopia, but at the same time, yeah, I completely understand wanting to focus on feeling optimistic, and that can put you in a more positive headspace to do better things as well. Let's see here. Yeah, and everyone's saying that Bobby needs to start wearing chrome. You have to do it, Bobby.
Do it.
Now, if you have any stories, chocolate-flavored stories for next week, universeboxshow@gmail.com. Twitter is @universe_box. Facebook is facebook.com/theuniversebox. And the voicemail number is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. And as always, we have a couple takeaways here to go out on. Okay, it's fun to think about the future. Yes, definitely. Things that seem ordinary today sounded silly 50 years ago.
They sounded silly 10 years ago.
Yeah, a lot of it, yeah. Some of it sounded silly, 5 years ago.
Right.
What's a Snapchat? What's a
Tinder?
What's a Periscope?
Periscope.
Yeah. Fiction can propel us into the future.
Yeah.
And it's a great big, beautiful tomorrow, shining at the end of every day.
Universe Boxio.
That's me.
That is you. Yeah, but good episode overall. I enjoyed it. Okay, Anne-Marie, where can people find you online besides BuzzFeed and all
CNN
that?
and
Yeah.
USA Today? You can find
Barack Obama has not commented on it
Barack
yet.
Obama has not commented on the Voldemort thing. No, I am on Twitter at DeSimone, and in case you haven't guessed by our Disney obsession, we recently started a Disney blog. It's DisneyPassholderProject.wordpress.com. It'll be getting a real URL soon.
And you can also find her at Disney World, like all the time. Me too.
Pretty much every weekend. That's where we are.
Okay, and as for me, you can follow me on Twitter at Bill Meeks. You can, you know what I'm going to say this week? You can follow my superhero book series, Dog Boy Adventures, at dogboyadventures.com. And you can follow all of the podcasts we do, as well as Greetings from Storybrooke, Universe Box, which you're listening to now, Legends of Gotham, a couple new ones coming up probably soon.
Yay! Can't wait for the new ones.
Universebox.com.
Universe Boxio.
Wait, what did you say?
What?
Universe Boxio.
Universe Boxio. Okay, so I guess that about does it for this week. Join us next week for some chocolate.
Yes!
Chocolate. I'm going to have to break my diet just a little bit. Just a little bit before the new job starts. But until next time, remember to think outside.
Universe Boxio.
Remember to think outside.
Remember to think outside.
Remember to think outside.
Remember to think outside.
Remember to think out.
Universe Boxio. Universe Boxio. Universe Boxio.
Okay, we'll stop it.
Universe Boxio.
Wait, what was that? What was that?
Universe Boxio.
Universe Boxio.
Kid number 1 broke one of my wands too. I'm not very happy about it.
I still have one of the wands here from the Harry Potter episode. I just hit the microphone stand with it.
That was stupid.
Whatchamacallit? No, I was gonna say I felt bad after because Bobby and Michael came over to our house for Night RAF's in the shower room.
Yeah, he just joined like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, but it came over to our house for a game night for last week's episode, and I meant to give them each one of these wands as like a
I'll have
keepsake.
to make them new ones.
But we forgot about it. Sorry about that, guys. All right, but we're going to go ahead and get heading out of here. We'll probably be in the chat room for a minute or three. But have a good evening, guys. Thanks
Universe
for watching.
Boxio.
Wait, what?
Wait,
What?
Universe Boxio.
Good night.
Good night.
I think. Are we off?